If my take I'm about to give damages what we've had up till now, I totally understand, and it's been really fun getting to know me. Can I open up to you guys for a second? I don't like aliens that much. I mean, I love aliens as a concept. I mean, that's so cool.
That's so cool.
But what I mean is I do not like the James Cameron film Aliens, originally titled Alien with a big fat $sign. And also, I don't hate Aliens. It's like a 3.5-star movie for me. It's just not the classic Alien movie for me. Anyway, when I was a growing boy, there were 3 movies that I held as the holy trinity of horror: The Thing, Alien, and for whatever reason, The Descent, 2 older classics and 1 modern one, all 3 scary as hell to me. So as I grew up, my taste branched off and mutated from those 3 movies. I saw Aliens well after I'd seen the Ridley Scott original, and my teenage brain wasn't really intelligent enough to observe the connection between them, meaning like the different directors and creative engineers at the helm for each and all that kind of stuff. The only film bro thing I did understand at the time was that the first one was horror and the second one is action. And as I grew up, I just always preferred my Alien movies to be as scary as possible. I know, I ended up disappointed quite a bit, but only in that fear aspect. Leading up to the release of Alien Romulus, I decided to rewatch all the Alien movies to form a better understanding of the franchise. Each of these Alien movies comes from a very well-regarded filmmaker, most of them being Ridley Scott, someone who rarely dips into horror, but when he did, made such a footprint it's lasted till today. Prometheus hit at the perfect time for me, when Alien was sort of a distant nightmare and I had much more context to understand what Scott was doing. How he was using the Alien universe to explore topics from seeds he planted in the first Alien. The concepts on display were scary, but the movie wasn't aggressively trying to affect you, it was trying to provoke you. Prometheus and Alien Covenant would be really fun to dive into some other time, but this is a Romulus video, and now having seen it, I understand that this is far more connected in lore to Alien 1 than anything else. Alien Romulus takes place between Alien and Aliens, which means on the spectrum of scary to action Alien movies, it's smack dab in the middle, and Fede Alvarez, the guy who did Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, I'm about to make a name for myself. When I got home from the movie, I saw Chris Stuckman's review of it, and he made the connection to Don't Breathe. You know, he said, oh, it's don't breathe in space, to which an astronaut would probably say that is correct. And while I do understand that connection, I made another one during the movie. Did you guys ever play Alien Isolation? It's one of the scariest experiences a human being who is me can have late at night wearing a headset with all the lights off, stoned out of your gourd, but it's low-key one of the best pieces of Alien content on the market. If horror games scare you a lot, play Alien Isolation, I suggest, with a friend. While watching Alien Romulus, just with the vibe of everything, pacing and the sources of tension, the environmental storytelling, it flipped some switch in my head that connected the same feeling I had creeping those hallways just looking for a fucking place to hide or a vent or a checkpoint. The yellow/red lights lining the walls like some Imperial destroyer from the Event Horizon Hell Dimension. Fede Alvarez, I really hope you played Alien Isolation, because if so, I'm in my head only going to force this movie to therefore be a video game movie, and I will replace Borderlands with it, and that saves the timeline, everybody. Best video game movie of the decade? Hey, Editing Jason here, to confirm that he did in fact take massive inspiration from Alien Isolation, so, fuck yeah. But even if Fede didn't play it, or it had no inspiration, the horror filmmaking on display here is immaculate. With Ridley Scott producing and publicly giving praise and props to Fede for the work he did on this, he made Alien scary as shit, maybe for the first time since Alien Prime, just like how he made Evil Dead scary for the first time since the original. You know how like grandkids will take old photos or videos of their grandparents and get them all remastered or colorized or some sweet thing you see in a Kodak commercial? Fede Alvarez has twice now respectfully brushed the dust off of classic franchises that started scary and drifted into other genres, and he took everything in concept that was scary and has brought those scares into the new era, as pure and disgusting as they ever were. Sam Raimi and Ridley Scott both love this dude, and the proof is right there on the screen. Being his biggest budget yet, around $80 million, Fede doesn't stumble a single time. The set pieces are clever and intense, the atmosphere, again, is just perfect. It's haunting. The sound design will absolutely get under your skin. Shafts open and shut like mouths of leeches flashes, lasers drill and hit rock, and it sounds like a banshee screaming in pain. The spaceship craft here is cool too. All the future tech is really cool. There's a lot of external wide shots near the end of what's basically an asteroid belt, and it all looks great. It feels weighty and tactile. That's another thing about a good Alien movie. The crew and the gear and the tech has to be scrappy and kind of bunk. And having the 4 or 5 leads be just a bunch of kids trying to survive, yes, in one light makes it like Don't Breathe, but it also makes for an incredibly fresh take after going existentially epic the last time we got new Alien content. Again, I love those movies for what they are, but Romulus just tapped into what made Alien 1 so damn scary so long ago. The franchise, in my opinion, was trying to do that post-Aliens, but Aliens was such a success that the movies then struggled to find their footing back in the horror genre. It always stayed somewhere in between. Being that this is a sequel to my personal favorite Alien movie, I hope I've laid all my biases out for you. Because, I'm just gonna say it, this is easily my second favorite Alien movie. I can't say it's my favorite because we wouldn't have Romulus without the first Alien. That's kind of a paradox in the ranking system. But one thing I can say that is not a paradox and is absolutely true for me, Alien Romulus is the scariest Alien movie, bar none. I am so happy with how this thing turned out. Fuck, God, whoa, better make a name for myself. I should probably mention some normal review stuff here. The performances were all great to me. Kaylee Spaney was great, as well as the person who played Andy. I had never seen him in anything before this, and I thought his performance was incredibly nuanced and difficult. The Alien franchise continues to impress with its, android-human relationships. But the screenplay even lends itself to a classic, gory horror movie structure. Trap a bunch of young adults in a very, very scary, tense setting and have them all get picked off one by one. I understand the shallowness of the screenplay that people might be pointing out. They might have wanted some bigger ideas from their Alien sequel. I just was lucky enough to have wanted the exact opposite since I saw the first Alien. Lucky me. There is one thing in this movie I did not like. It's one line that a character says and it seems out of pocket and did not belong in this movie. It is the only time the movie does it, but it's a cringy callback to a line originally given by Sigourney Weaver in Aliens. The movie seems to have no interest in being that kind of a sequel, aside from that one moment. The inclusion of Rook, by the way, I know is sort of in the same camp, but I didn't think it was nearly as egregious of a reference point, being that it does literally connect in canon with the first Alien. The line straight from one of the older movies though, I don't know, that was a little much. Then the movie goes right back to its punishing, bleak, disgusting self. People can call Romulus not epic enough or not exploring enough ideas, but I don't think horror always needs to do that, and Alien Romulus wears its influences on its sleeve proudly. From following and including the stuff that's in every Alien movie, like android-human connection, throwing the bitch out into space, stuff like that, but its main influence is Ridley Scott's original Alien, and that was a precious realization I had by the time the credits rolled. Going back to basics has never been this scary. The blend of practical and visual effects in Alien Romulus was jaw-dropping for me, and it wouldn't be achieved without all these different pieces working together in unison, from lighting to cinematography to the blood effects to the gore to the sound design to the acting and performances. Everything in this movie just hums and is there to do nothing but get your asshole so tight. Pause. For that reason, I think Ridley Scott and Fede Alvarez collaborating on this movie the way they did was a match made in heaven, and it returned space to being a living fucking hell for the working man. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Ain't in my best yet, just let me work. Less than good, it's better than worse.